Hello, my name is Ed Frawley. I own Leerburg, for those that don't know. We have a question and answer on all of our video, or on all of our website, where people can write Cindy and ask training questions, and then we keep these questions that are interesting aside and put them in our newsletter, and this happens to be one. Here we have a woman with a 4-month-old Newfoundland puppy, and she lives in an area where she has rabbits and chickens and cats, and she wants to know how to neutralize her dog to these other animals. I'll read her email and then we'll talk about it. I own a 4-month-old Newfoundland puppy named Pepsi. She's a good girl, naturally, and I want her to do the right things to make sure she's the best dog that she can be. I especially want to make sure that she grows up to be tolerant of, no chasing or biting, of cats, chickens, rabbits. We have all of these. The cat is not a problem, as they are already accepting each other, and if she gets a little close, the cat swats her nose and the puppy backs off. Now to the question. The rabbits and chickens are in a chain link area, and the puppy cannot get into it alone, but I would like to safely introduce her to them. My plan is to muzzle Pepsi and introduce her first with short supervised visits, and then building up to eventually being able to safely leave her with no muzzle on. I want a secure muzzle, but one that's she can pant in and drink in is very important to me. Do you think the Ultra Baskerville is a good choice? Any suggestions or corrections to my plan? I'd sure appreciate it. Leanne. Good questions, Leanne. We have chickens here. We have cats here. We have 4 cats that we keep in our kennel, and they're there just for the mice. They have a large outside fenced-in enclosure with an outside house that they stay in during the summertime. In my opinion, I think that what you want is not obtainable. I may be wrong, but I don't think you can, and I think you need to be a realist here. It seems like you already have your dog and your cat situation solved, but I'll tell you this. When we raise puppies, we don't let them off leash. We keep them on a long leash until they are old. And I mean, it could be 8 months, 10 months. It could be 18 months to 24 months. The decision on allowing a dog to be off leash is a question of whether you can call them back from a distraction, and they will come. If you can't call them back from the chickens, your dog's not trained. If you can't call them back from the rabbits, your dog's not trained. And then it should be on a leash. Put it on a flexi lead, put it on a long line. I like these long lines that we sell. They're not very expensive and they're secure. The muzzle standpoint, you hit a key there. It's important with a new dog to have a muzzle that they can drink and eat with. I like the wire basket muzzles we have. They're less constricting to the dog. The dogs accept them better. So that's the muzzle I would recommend, but I wouldn't put a muzzle on a dog and then take them in and into the pen with the rabbits or into the pen with the chickens, because the dog's satisfaction is going to come from chasing them, not killing them, and they might kill them. You can really do some damage with a muzzle on, a dog can, especially a larger dog. I mean, when I was a police canine handler for 10 years and we did muzzle fighting, and I have a videotape on muzzle fighting, dogs can break ribs, can break teeth with a muzzle on. So the muzzle, in my opinion, is not something really that you should consider. Putting the dogs in and expecting the dog to go in with the rabbits and chickens, not a good idea. What I would do and what we do is we take our dogs out and we work engagement games with the dog. What is engagement? People that have been on Leerburg's website probably get sick of me hearing me talk about it. But engagement means that our dog is totally focused on us. It wants what we have. And we either have a high-value food reward or the dog's favorite toy. So with young dogs, like 4-month-old dogs, your dog is just starting to teeth. It's not a good idea to be using toys. In fact, we don't even recommend using toys for a couple of different reasons. Your dog has to understand the rules of play before you can use toys. And the rules of play are, the dog has to really love the toy, play with vigor. He must bring the toy back when we toss it or we let him go with it. And he must spit the toy out when we ask him to spit the toy out. If he won't do that, that interrupts the flow of our training, and then we have created another problem with our dogs. So we don't use toys until we specifically take the dog aside, teach him the rules of play. We have a DVD we did with Michael Ellis titled The Power of Training Dogs, or The Power of Playing Tug with Your Dogs. With young dogs, a lot of times young puppies and young dogs have much higher food drive than a toy drive. With some dogs that flips over after they teeth and they develop their toy drive, if the people encourage that. So with you, I would work on food issues. We have the video that we did, The Power of Training Dogs with Food, that we also did with Michael Ellis. And what we then do is we teach the dog to do what we want with high-value food rewards. When we socialize our puppies, we take them out and we get them engaged with us. And the truth is, the people, and it's what we do now, is we work on engagement issues with our puppies until they're 7, 8 months old, until they're mature. What does a dog look like that's engaged with us? If you didn't know what engagement was and you saw a dog engage with us, he would look like he's challenging us to play with him. They're all excited. They want to be with you. They want what you have. They're bouncing around. They're looking right at you. That's engagement. So what I think you should do is work engagement games with your dog, with your puppy, on leash. And the only reason for a leash is to stop the dog from leaving. It's not to correct the dog. It's not to do anything else. You work the dog on leash and then see, once you get the dog so it understands the game, understands engagement, when we take our dogs out, we say, "Are you ready?" To them, that means, uh-oh, games are going to start, and boom, they're engaged. You can put engagement on cue. We say, "Are you ready?" We engage them, and we play with them, and we play food games. Then we try and shorten the distance to the chickens, shorten the distance to the rabbits. We want the chickens and the rabbits to become pieces of furniture that the dog totally ignores. We want to work engagement games closer and closer and closer to the rabbit pens and to the chicken pens. And when you can get engagement outside of the rabbit pen and outside of the chicken pen, then you've accomplished a lot. And really, that should be your goal, as long as you keep him on leash. Now, a few months ago, I did I did a free newsletter video on management with dogs. You should probably go to our video on demand section, just type in management and watch that video, because that's going to be important to you. What I would recommend is the video that we did on living with your dog, the video that we did titled Your Puppy 8 Weeks to 8 Months. I would recommend the video we did with Michael Ellis on the power of training dogs with food. If you take your dog through all of that, you're going to have a new dog. You're going to have a well-behaved dog, and you're going to understand the foundation for training for any behavior that you want to train your dog, because that's the foundation for it.